Today on Rappler. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee probes ghost flood control projects and questionable practices. A top government contractor is under probe for ghost public works projects in Bulacan. Lawmakers question the 2025 budget insertions in the first budget briefing for 2026. Senate Minority Leader Tito Sotto questions the Commission on Appointments' initial composition. And Ketamine Queen agrees to plead guilty to supplying the dose that killed Friends star Matthew Perry. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee zeroes in on ghost projects and questionable practices in the government's flood control program in a hearing Tuesday, August 19. Out of the top 15 flood control contractors, only 7 showed up in the hearing. Among those absent were Sara Discaya of Alpha and Omega and Lawrence Lubiano of Center Waste Construction. Lubiano was represented by his lawyer at the hearing. During the hearing, Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan reveals many projects proceeded without feasibility studies. He adds, the Public Works and Highways Department has not been coordinating with the River Basin Control Office, the agency mandated to draft a master plan for flood control. Senator Raffy Tulfo alleges only 13.5% of project funds actually reach construction. He claims the rest goes to government officials and contractors, some of whom flaunt wealth through helicopters and mansions. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian meantime warns the DPWH could face a zero budget if it continues to fund substandard or ampaw projects. At least 2 government agencies are investigating ghost public works projects in Bulacan by top government contractor wRap. Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan confirms this during the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing on flood control projects on Tuesday, August 19. He says he received the same information as Senator Jinggoy Estrada, who identified wRap as the contractor behind the alleged ghost projects in Kalumpit and Hagonoy, Bulacan. wRap ranks 12th among the top 15 flood control project contractors previously named by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Bonoan also says he has relieved the entire district office, referring to the 1st District Engineering Office of the Department of Public Works and Highways. A fraud audit is also on the way. From 2022 to 2025, wRap was awarded 9 billion pesos worth of projects in the entire country. In Bulacan alone, wRap secured 5.9 billion pesos worth of projects. Bonoan says they will file all necessary charges if their investigation verifies the ghost projects. Several lawmakers asked the country's economic managers if they were aware of the insertions made in the 2025 budget before it was signed by the president. This as the House of Representatives kicked off deliberations on the over 6.7 trillion peso 2026 budget proposal. At least 3 lawmakers raised this question during the House Committee on Appropriations briefing with the Development Budget Coordination Committee on Monday, August 18. They were referring to about 142.7 billion pesos in last-minute changes to the 2025 budget. These included splitting some projects into phases or moving some foreign-funded projects to the unprogrammed funds. Each time the question was asked, Department of Budget and Management Secretary Amena Pangandaman said they were not given a copy of the insertions before the 2025 budget bill was signed into law. Pangandaman and Finance Secretary Ralph Recto also reiterate those types of amendments can only be done by Congress, and the executive branch only proposes and executes the budget. Senate Minority Leader Tito Sotto questions the composition of the powerful Commission on Appointments, particularly the initial allotment of 10 members from the majority bloc. Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva nominated 10 majority members, which Sotto questioned. 5 were from the Duterte bloc. Villanueva explains the allocation followed an 80-20 split between the majority and minority. With this ratio, 80% of the 12 Senate seats is 9.6, rounded up to 10 for the majority, while 20% is 2.4, rounded down to 2 for the minority. Sotto argues the Commission on Appointments composition should not be based on percentages, but should follow the Supreme Court's ruling on proper allocation.
If this body elects to follow the Supreme Court decision on the articles of impeachment, why can't they follow the decision of the Supreme Court when it comes to the computation of membership in the Commission on Appointments?
Cayetano later withdrew his nomination to give the Senate more time to discuss. Only 9 majority members were elected. Meantime, Senators Risa Ontiveros, Mig Zubiri, and Loren Legarda have been elected as members of the commission, joining the 9 majority members. A Los Angeles woman known as the Ketamine Queen agrees to plead guilty to charges that she supplied a dose of the prescription anesthetic that killed Friends star Matthew Perry. Authorities say Jasmine Sanga ran an illegal narcotic stash house in the North Hollywood district of Los Angeles. She is due to stand in trial in September and plead guilty to 5 charges under the deal with federal prosecutors. 4 other co-defendants in the case, 2 physicians, Perry's personal assistant, and another man who admitted acting as an intermediary in selling ketamine to the actor, already pleaded guilty to various charges. None has yet been sentenced, but all 5 were charged in the case 1 year ago. Sanga faces up to 15 years in prison for the ketamine distribution that killed Perry and 10 years for each of the 3 other distribution counts. And that's today's wrap. I'm Kara Oliver. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Rappler's YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.